attorney. No, this one ain't it. Let me see experiences and my opinions. So, all right, listen. If I'm not mistaken, it's in this book right here. Oh, hold on. With your lawyer, here it go. Uh, let me see. The eight critical things the lawyer won't tell you. Page 10. This is it. Yep, this is the book. Page 10. All right, here it go. Yep, this is it right here. Peace, Queen, weather speech, peace, love, peace. So check out this, y'all. This book right here, eight critical things your auto accident attorney won't tell you. Right? I actually think this actually applies in all aspects of the law with respect to the jurisprudence system, the legal system. Listen to what he says, y'all. Practicing law is in part a business. Most business owners will not disclose to their customers all the intricacies of how the business is run. Lawyers in this business mode are like business owners. They will not always tell their clients how everything works because, first, how a business runs is often the pro- proprietary, and second, proprietary, and second, the day-to-day and long-term management discussions are not things lawyers want to discuss with clients. By analogy, consumers don't routinely inquire about procedures and in discussions about the running of a restaurant. They go there and expect good food and beverage, courteous service, and a fair price. How the menu was printed, the design of the rooms, the accounting system used, the salaries of the waiters. And more business discussions are not the things made known to the customers. Further, restaurant owners are not going to invite you into the kitchen to show you how their chefs prepare the meals or what ingredients they use. Now, if you pay attention to this guy's literally debunking, or rather more busting the lawyers, right? Though you are paying your attorney, lawyer, whatever term you want to use, though you are paying them, they are not going to fully disclose to you how things are ran. You got to understand, when you pass when you graduate from your law school, you are a candidate to join the bar system, you know, and when you join that bar, that's a fraternity. That's a fraternity. When you pass the bar, that is literally a fraternity. Your lawyers went to school with the same judges and the prosecutors that's trying to convict you. They are part of the same fraternity. Judges, prosecutors, district attorneys, your lawyer, all of them are part of the same fraternity. They go out to dinner together. They go golfing together. Why would they? Why would they disclose everything to you? You're not part of that fraternity. You're not part of it. So it's important that we understand this, and we listen. Check this, y'all. Um, One of my very closest friends, his name was State Representative Isaac Roberts. That was my guy. Very beautiful European brother. And I remember when I was locked up for a pistol charge. I didn't get convicted in the state. I beat it, but the parole board still violated. Um, when Kim Worthy tried to recharge me for the pistol case that I beat in the state court, I called State Representative Isaac Robinson. May Allah be pleased with his good and grant him paradise, for he did a lot for our race of people. I remember I talked to him on the phone and I say, listen, I say, do you have any stuff for a lot? I say, do you have any recommendations far as great attorneys? He laughed, not in a condescending, not in a disrespectful manner, but he laughed because he knew something that I didn't know at that time. He said, let me tell you something, Asar. There is no such thing as a good attorney. All y'all that spending money on these attorneys don't realize that. You literally are freely giving your money away. He stated this: if you want to be the case, go to the law library and study yourself. I did. It took me under 3 months to beat my case. And I got my yellow sheet, my order dismissal. Go to the law library and study yourself. You want to print out the United States Constitution. You want to print out federal statutes, federal cases. You want to print out state cases. I'm gonna give you another great word of advice. You want to also print out the courtroom rules and procedures. That's what the courts don't want you to know. Print out the courtroom rules and procedures. That tells you the inner workings of the courtroom, the business. Again, this is no sovereignty bullshit. No stuff. Well, I'm trying to work on my profanity. This is dealing with law, and I'm coming out of the actual law books that the law schools study from. These are the same books that your judges, your chief justices, um, the local officials, everybody study from these particular books. So check out this, y'all. I want to go a little ahead real quick, y'all, real quick. He say, in this chapter, we'll cover what the law is, understanding state versus federal law, sources of law, and how United States courts are structured. These basics will provide the framework for understanding how to conduct legal research, helping you frame your legal questions and find the answers you're looking for. That's what this is for. What is the law? Most of us don't spend much time thinking about what the law means. The law doesn't enter our daily lives in a recognizable way and only becomes visible to us when we get a traffic ticket, are denied a government service, buy or sell a house, or dispute a bill. In the real world, the law is an amorphous set of rules that govern individual and group behavior. I'm going to reread the definition for the law. The law is an amorphous set of rules that govern individual and group behavior. That's what the law means. Listen, the First Amendment, one of the clauses in the First Amendment is freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of press. However, my civil liberties cannot come in conflict with your civil liberties. If it does, we have to go to a civil court and file a civil suit. Though I have freedom of speech, I cannot go into a theater and yell fire. Why? Because now I am posing a threat I am posing harm to the public safety. Make sense? Though I have freedom of speech, I can't go around disrespecting people because of their sexual orientation. I cannot yell, "Hey, fag," or with respects to the law. I can't go around saying, cracker, nigga, right? Though I do. But I can't, right? According to the law. Because now I am violating somebody else's civil liberties. I am violating the 14th Amendment, um, which declares that everyone is equal before the law. I can't look at you less than, because according to the 14th Amendment, each and every one of us is equal before the law. Let's get to it. Also, y'all, I want to give this as a sidebar. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. That is a legal phrase. That is a legal phrase. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. We don't even know about many of these rules, or we understand them only generally. For example, you don't need to see a written law to know that it's a crime to steal or destroy someone else's property. But the rules have force, because if we break them, we could be held responsible by our legal system. So you have those that make the law, then you have those that force the law. That being said, even if we understand what the law is, it doesn't mean it always functions in a predictable way. After all, prosecutors choose whether to bring charges against defendants. So, committing a crime doesn't necessarily lead to prosecution. Now, let me explain that. Say, for instance, you get into a fight with somebody. Though the police may detain you, and though they may attempt to charge you with assault, they have 72 hours. They have 72 hours for the prosecutor to say, hey, we're going to move forward with these charges. In the event that they don't charge you within 72 hours, they have to release you. Again, they have 72 hours to hold you. If the prosecutors say, we're going to move forward with these charges, then you know what time it is. Strap up your boots and go in, as far as this law degree. If they don't charge you within 72 hours, they have to release you. They cannot hold you in any detention facility for more than 72 hours. But here's the catch to that: it have to be business day. It has to be business day. So if you get caught up on a Friday, or if you get caught up on a holiday, that doesn't count. It doesn't count at all. It just doesn't. This is why it's important to know and understand the law and how it works. I mean, we got to live in a society, right? Islam, Mo. We got to live in a society. Why not understand the law of the society? After all, what does the law mean by definition? It is an amorphous set of rules that govern individual and group behavior. Let's continue. And while we may be entitled to a government service, a social security payment, for example, that doesn't help much when the Social Security Administration denies a claim. The reality is, laws are applied to real people in the real world. So things don't always play out as perfectly as they might look on paper. This explains, in part, the legal profession. Different people have different understandings, not only of factual events. For example, whether the driver ran the stop sign, but different understandings about what the law means. It's because of these different interpretations that people often end up in court. Now, who is the interpreters of the law? Judges. Judges are the interpreters of the law. Check this, y'all. Congress makes the laws. Congress. They make the law. I'm telling ones, don't study the sovereign degree. It's bullcrap. Study actual law, y'all. Study actual law. Now, I want to share something with y'all. What is the origins of law? Do y'all know that man-made law actually comes from the laws of nature? It comes from divine law. The United States Constitution springs forth from the Declaration of Independence. Did y'all know that? That the Declaration of Independence is the cornerstone for the United States Constitution. Most people don't know that. And then the Declaration of Independence, that deals with the law of God. Let me show y'all something. Because we're dealing with what is the law. And in dealing with what is the law, we also have to discuss the origins, the history of it, right? Check this out. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It's sad that if a person is arguing, their numbers would be 250, 300. If a person is exposed to somebody, 3 to 500. But when we studying something that's important, look, that goes to show you this app cares more about entertainment than actual education and liberation. So check out this, y'all. Let me show y'all something. In Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13th United States of America. That's a fancy smashy way of saying the 13 original colonies of the United States of America. Check out what it says, y'all. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitled them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impelled them to the separation. Y'all heard it, God, and that's in the law. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Y'all see it? The law, the law actually comes from divine law, God's law. Man just built upon it, around it, and under it. Let me break this down. Check this out. The very first amendment of the United States Constitution is what? Freedom of religion. Freedom of religion. Freedom of expression of religion. These are within the clause of the very first amendment of the United States Constitution. Freedom to practice one's religion. Now, that is actually the very first amendment of not only federal constitution, but state constitution. Because as cruel as those slave masters were, they understood that we all have a God. And so they included God in the law. Think on that and be wise, y'all. So that literally goes to show that all of these laws spring forth from divinity. All of them. Why? Listen, check this, y'all. Why do you think it says we have certain inalienable rights that God gave us? See, the rights that man gave us, they could be challenged and took away. But the rights that God gave us can never be taken away. But the question becomes, who is your God? If you don't know who your creator is, then you don't know what your unalienable rights is. Who is your creator? Who is your creator? Why you think when the Mormons, when they didn't want to serve the gay couple, right? They didn't want to serve the gay couple. They didn't get charged with no hate crime or no discriminatory law violations. Why do you think that? Because their God gave them certain inalienable rights. For prime example, I'm a Moorish American Muslim. I have rights that my God gave me. And that's the thing with people who say they spiritual, right? When you say that you spiritual, you don't have any rights. How you spiritual and not religious? That's the thing that get me when people say, "Oh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual." Thank you. I appreciate that, Goddess Keys. Thank you. Make sure y'all tap into that cash app, man. Again, ain't nobody teaching like this, man. Nobody is teaching like this on this app. Nobody. Straight up. Real shit. So check out this, y'all. Who is your creator? Who created you? What is your unalienable rights? And is it recognized by and in law? Who created you? See, my prophet, stuff will up. My prophet told me in my questionnaire, he say, who made you? He say, who made you? Allah. That's the very first question. That's the very first question. That's the very first key. Who made you? Allah. So our unalienable rights is found within these two books right here as Moorish American Muslims. Our Moorish Islamic Old Testament. This is the Moorish Islamic Old Testament for us. The great Quran of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be unto him. And our Moorish New Testament, the Circle 7. This is where our unalienable rights come from. And I didn't exercise my rights as a Morse American Muslim. And I always came out on top. I always came out on top. Always. I could bear witness through my personal experience. You know, it ain't just no book information for me. I'd have been tried and proven to be true in the courts of men. Standing on my 7. Better yet, standing on my 10. If you know, then you know. The difference between standing on the 7 and standing on the 10. You know, so like I say, it all boils down to who is your creator. Because the Europeans know that everybody got a creator, and they know that we don't got the same creator. They know that. They know that, and it's in their law. I'm gonna read it to you again. Let me show y'all something. They know we don't have the same creator. Pay attention. Do not listen. Do not miss the power of a sentence, y'all. Check out this, y'all. This in the Declaration of Independence, the cornerstone, the foundation of the United States Constitution. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their, that's plural meaning more than one, endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Again, who is your creator? How do you think Israel, how you think the Israelis got their land? How y'all think the Israelis got their land in Israel? See, a lot of people don't know. The Israelis over there now, they started off here in America as a Zionist movement in 1916, y'all. In 1916, they started off as the Zionist movement. And they stood firm on their religion. And by them standing firm on their religion, they was actually able to prove by way of the Torah that Israel was their land. They used their religion. See, the European taught you separation between church and state, right? Separation between church and state, when it boils down in layman terms, right? When you look in the law dictionary, church is synonymous with religion. So separation between church and state literally means separation between religion and state. No state can support a religion. No state can support a religion according to the constitutional standards of the law. So a lot of y'all are separating yourself from religion and saying y'all spiritual and don't realize you're out of law. Not only are you out of law, you sound ridiculous because most people that say they are spiritual don't even know what that means. Peace, direct current. Don't even know what it means to be spiritual. Let me give y'all a sidebar. Thank you, Drive-By. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm grateful. Islam. What does spiritual mean? Spiritual derives from the root word spirit. Spirit is Latin Greek, y'all. It is Latin Greek. And it literally means breath, wind. See, spirit derives from spiritus. It literally means breath, lungs. When you go farther into the Greek, the word pneumonia also means breath, wind. Then when you go into Kemet, you look into Ka. Ka means breath, spirit. Breath, spirit, wind. So that's all spirit means. When you say you spiritual, it just denotes that you are doing breathing exercises, basically. Because again, spirit derives from spiritus, which means breath, lungs. So when you say you spiritual, you're just basically saying that you doing what? Breathing exercises, right? See, religion means binding, fasting, tied down, right? It's a two-syllable word. The prefix is re, which means returning, repeat. The suffix religion derives from leger, which means to bind to fast. So religion meaning to go back, to return back, to tie yourself back to what? A commitment between you and your creator. That's what religion means. That's the original definition. See, you have usages of words and terms, usages, but you have to place everything in its proper context and in its proper timeline, right? Are we talking about the definition according to ancient times or the modern usage of the word and term, right? Because you have the modern definitions and then you have the ancient definitions. We not dealing with the modern definitions of these words or terms. We not, because the ancient terms are more intellectual, more so dealing with divinity, and the modern definitions are secular. It's secular, anti-divinity, anti-divinity. We not dealing with that. Peace, Queen Balboa, peace. So again, we dealing with the law. Check this. Let's put our head back in this law book. I just had to give a brief side note so that ones get to understand the history of the law. So check out this, y'all. It goes on to say this. Oh, we in the law books, this law class. I also want to start doing the psychology class of psychology.
Can I interrupt you?
We also
Brother, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Go ahead, but make it real brief. We teach.
I will, brother. I will. You said that we hold these laws to be. Read that part again, right there at the very before you got off into the spirit and stuff, brother. Like that first part. I just want to make sure I understood that.
All right.
It's your constitutional right.
Well, this right here is the Declaration of Independence. This is the foundation of the Constitution. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain and unalienable rights.
Okay. So when you say that, so that means that if that's the foundation of the Constitution, that no matter who steps on the United States of America, even though you have a different creator or whatever, you saying that whatever your religion is, you can't be held accountable for some shit. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm trying to say, brother? I'm trying to see like where
I get you trying to get an understanding, and that's the purpose of having this class. So check out this, right? What I'm saying is this. Even though people, I'm gonna use them for example, even though people in the LGBTQ community do have civil liberties, right? Far as self-identity. If your religion is against that, you don't have to acknowledge their misunderstanding of pronouns, right? You don't. For prime example, I practice Islam. My religion forbids me. It's not permissible for me to call a man a woman. It's not permissible for me to call a woman a man. Peace, family, peace. It's not peace. Thank you, Eli. I appreciate that peace.
When you say permissible, what does that mean by permissible, brother?
All right. So when I say permissible, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's not right.
Is that giving away your free speech?
As far as what? If I call them, if I acknowledge them by the pronouns they want to be called.
So can these motherfuckers throw you in jail because you call them a faggot? A faggot? I'm just saying.
Right, so check this. if you call them a faggot, that actually fits the criteria of a hate crime, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's not a
literally
crime
like,
though,
yeah,
because
that's
it's your brother. That's your free speech. You haven't done anything about.
it's not it's not. Hold on, Efron. That's not freedom of speech and law, because this is the thing. Even though you have freedom of speech, your civil liberties cannot conflict with another citizen's civil liberties.
So then you don't have freedom of speech, brother. Because listen, this is all I'm
Listen to
saying
what
though.
Balboa just said. Look at what Balboa just said, King. Balboa is a government official. That's my sister. She's in the government. Freedom of speech is not freedom from reproach.
See, this
It's
is
not
where the
freedom from
law.
reproach.
This is where the law gets me twisted, family. I'm not saying that what you. Man, I love what you bringing out, brother. But I'm saying like this: unless I commit an act, a hate crime, a hate crime act, it's not considered a crime because I open my mouth. If you're going to accuse me for opening my mouth, that's what Trump is going through now. You trying to take away my freedom of speech. I have not committed a crime. I just uttered words out of my mouth. So if you're going to hold me accountable to call what I said out of my mouth a crime, then you are going against the Constitution. Because brother, I understand what you hold on. I understand what you're saying. I, so with it, well, well, hold on, brother. So then, what they should have did in this is said, you have the freedom to say what you want to say, but if we don't feel it
Let
is
me
right, we can start showing. Listen, brother, listen to what I'm saying, because now you said I don't have a freedom of speech to say what I want to say because I could throw your ass
That's
in
what we
jail.
was getting to the part. We was getting to the
You know what I'm
part that's gonna
saying?
help you understand, King. We was getting to that part, King. I got you. I got you, my brother. We literally get into that part in the legal book that's gonna help you understand, King. I'm with you. Understand that. I'm with you. But what I'm trying to explain to you is this, right? In this law book, it breaks it down and it talks about how I'm gonna show it to you rather than tell you, right? Because y'all already know how she give it up, right? I like to show y'all for y'all to see. So
Brother, I already followed you. You have mad intelligence, and I love what you bringing forth. But my job is just to challenge a lot of things. It's not even your thing that I'm challenging. It's
no, I get
actually
what you're
the.
saying. Look at
Go ahead,
this.
though.
Check out. No, I got you, King. Listen, I got you. Check out this. It says while statutes are very important part of our law. Is that time? All right, here. All right, here I come. It's very important part of our law. They actually make up a very small part of it. That's primarily because we don't always agree on what the statutes and other sources of law like the Constitution mean. That's what's going on right now. We're not agreeing, right? Check out this. As a result, interpreting what these laws say is largely a responsibility of our court system.
Woo! Now that's a whole different thing. Is that in that constitutional thing?
Absolutely, because right, the judges, you
Man,
all right. So
man,
in the Constitution, it breaks down our levels of government: federal, state, city, etc. The local government forms of government, right? But
right.
boy, you better come up here and teach, man. You an actual legal expert. What's wrong with you? You sitting in the comment section as a commentary. Get up here. Check out this, right, y'all? Go ahead.
Speech do not address what you're saying, but we have to look at the document in its entirety, not just in segments, right? Because there's also what's called protected classes that are meant to protect all of us from forms of discrimination. And there are 12 characteristics that fall under that. And one of those is sexual orientation, which is why you can't just willy-nilly call people terms, because it's a form of harassment, could be considered a form of prejudice and discrimination. You know what I mean? So yeah, you have your right to free speech, but the same protections that you have, for instance, for your race, that somebody can't just call you a nigga all willy-nilly, is the same protections that are afforded to people for their sexual orientation.
No,
But
sister,
gender also falls in that. Religion also falls in that people cannot basically defame your religion or discriminate against you for religious purposes. It's all the same umbrella that also protects people from being called a faggot, for instance. And that's why it falls under that hate crime statute where the protected classes are concerned.
sister, I understand exactly what you're saying. It makes sense too, because you don't nobody want their people to be harassed. But in the same breath though, it's still taken away, if you can understand it, your freedom of speech. Like, listen, I would hate to have somebody call me a nigga. But
Look,
guess what? If I go to the police and I say, that dude over there called me a nigga, do you think the police gonna go over there and arrest that dude for calling me a nigga? Honestly.
But see, you know the thing though, the LGBTQ fought harder than our people, generally speaking. We didn't fight hard like the LGBTQ community did. We did. With all the discrimination that they faced, they still continue to fight. Our people gave up. So they fought for their rights. Us, we ain't fighting for us. The only time we get together to fight is when a European officer killed an Asiatic brother or sister. That's the only time we fight. And that marching only lasts for like a day and a half, and then we go back to regular scheduled program. That's the reason why they still got. That's the reason why they ain't got no anti-lynching laws yet. Like, lynching is still a law. It's still good. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they could still lynch. Like, I live in the suburbs, and this is a sundown town here. Right now, it's still a sundown town. We haven't been fighting like that, generally speaking. So we don't have the same equal rights, to where if a person call us a nigger, they go get charged like that.
So let me tell y'all something. So like, my grandfather came up in the back days, with slavery and all that shit, where it was coming out of slavery. He fought in the war and all that. And my mother, after my stories my grandfather told me, I just had a hate for white people. And my mother told me, she was like, you know what, son? If your ass want to go change something, you need to get into these offices where you can get your ass up in there and change some laws.
That's right.
So
that's right.
And that's what she told me, right? So now what I'm seeing is most of these, what we call transgender and gay people, they have actually taken over the offices, bro. They're the ones who are
Can
in
I,
these offices
can,
now. So there hasn't been a great fight. They have created laws to protect their gay
so
people.
can I
That's what you
just say
got.
this? So can I just say this? So first I wanted to touch on freedom, right? And there's a Supreme Court quote from Oliver Wendell Holmes, right? One of the Supreme Court justices at that time, which basically laid out how freedom is structured, right? And one thing that said is your freedom ends where my nose begins, right? Which is basically saying you're free to do many things, right? Until it infringes on the next person's freedom, which
There it is.
includes the freedom from harassment and disrespect, right? So, they go further to say your right to swing your arms ends just where the other man's nose begin. That's how they phrase it, right? So I just want you to consider that and why you want to have an entitlement. Like, why does a white person want to have the entitlement to say the word nigger? When a white person's like, well, why can't I say nigger? Don't we question that? Like, well, why would you want to? Why are you so determined to have access to that, right? So I yield that question to you, right? But even more on a personal level from me, something that's becoming very disconcerting to me is that we can't have any builds without somehow talking about transgender and the LGBT community. We building on the law right now, and now we in a rabbit hole of LGBTQ. And I don't
Well, sis,
understand if that bracket of people are only 10% of the population, why are we giving them 90% of our focus?
Because
Please.
can
that
I
ain't the focus.
can
That
I
ain't the
get can I
focus.
give the
It's
answer
just
to that?
it's just, hold on. Let me just say this real quick. It's just the way the narrative is swerved that way. Because what we're talking about is freedom of
But
speech. It ain't really about
you swerving it right now.
No,
You're
I didn't bring the LGBTQ in. Your brother did. Your brother brought that up. I didn't bring that up. I said faggot. So, I
in
mean,
here.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. So that's why I said from the beginning what I told you. Man must be what he knows. Your ignorance to the law is no excuse, but not knowing the law is excusable. You feel me? Like,
But here's what I'm saying, though, family. This is all I'm saying. Because they're trying to shut people mouths, bro. Unawarely to people. All they're doing is like shutting your mouth. They're taking away your right.
but
That's
if you
what.
have if you have a nationality, you have a right to freedom of speech. You feel me? Now, when you have right to freedom of speech, which means that speech is not tolerated amongst us. Those people are not tolerated amongst us. You feel me? So we don't even have those words or those type of instances in our mind or in our thoughts or in our existence where we live, because this goes against the law. You feel me?
Hold on,
It goes
brother.
against
Hold
the
on,
law. So
brother.
if it
Hold
goes
on.
against our law, we don't worry about what their law is doing. We have our own law according to,
We,
you know what I'm saying, our constitution.
brother, we just using that term or that word as an extreme to
Right.
demonstrate that your freedom of speech has been taken. We're just using it as an allegory term. And
Yeah,
to
but
demonstrate,
by using that term, you bring in a certain type of people. When you
brother,
bring in these
brother,
type,
brother,
listen.
brother,
No,
it
that's why I
doesn't
said you got
matter.
to listen. It's called steak
Yes,
and potato.
and but in this moment, in this exact moment, in this build, we have now contributed X amount of time, and it's
On this one
ongoing. That
specific subject, right?
we're now focused. Where the thing that you have an issue with, we are now focused on at length instead of focusing
Right.
on
That's
the
true.
topic of the build. Can we not do
Right.
that?
We're talking
Right.
about a law. We're talking
Do
about
you
law.
insist on having this topic as a focus point? I just want to be aware because then I
If
can
y'all
exit the
don't
room.
listen, if y'all don't want to deal with it, I'll exit the room
I
because
want
we're
to
dealing
deal
with.
with what the host is building on, and we're in a bucket about LGBTQ now.
I'm not even talking about LGBTQ. I'm talking
You
about your
are.
freedom of speech, sis. I'm talking about your. We can take faggot out the equation and put another word in there. If you use words and terms that you can be held accountable for and thrown in jail, you don't have a right of freedom of speech. That's what I'm
So,
saying. It
sir,
doesn't matter about the
if
LGBTQ.
you
I
want
don't care how
if
many.
you want a society that you can go to work and white people can just call you nigga or willy nilly, you have at it. I'm good on
It
what the law
doesn't.
says.
Okay, but listen. Regardless of what's being said, is still contributing of taking away your freedom of speech. Do you understand that
Okay,
part of the game?
thank you.
All right, man. Listen, I don't know if y'all really understand what I'm saying, but listen, if you can't open your mouth and express your what's coming out of your head, and you ain't threatening nobody to kill them or take their life or mess with their family or do anything else, you ought to be able to say what the hell you want to say without
And I
being.
hope you keep that same energy when white folks call you nigga at work.
They
I hope
do
you
it
keep
all
that
the
same energy.
time. They do it all the time.
Well, that's your choice, because they wouldn't do it to me all the time, because I wouldn't play that shit, because I would be enforcing the goddamn law that protects me from it.
Listen,
Absolutely.
listen, sis. All I'm saying is this, man. You might as well get rid of that. You might as well get rid of that constitution because it don't hold water.
It do. It just you looking at it from the narrow walls of the waterway. You feel me? You must see it from all angles. It's not you not just looking at it just from, oh, if somebody calls me this or they call me that. Nah, it's bigger than that. It says if you infringe. Do you know what infringe is? Infringe on another man, right?
What does
Or
infringe
woman.
mean, though?
All
Define
right. So if
infringe.
you, all right. So what I'm saying, so if you know, then that means you're infringing on their constitutional right. That's the constitutional right. You are infringing on it, right? By calling them
Mm.
certain specific names, whoever they are, whatever they are, right?
What
So
does
now by you breaking the law, once they make a law, listen, bro, once they make a law, not saying you have to go and jump out through hoops, but you have to follow the law. That's why it says ignorance to the law is no excuse. But not knowing the law is excusable. That's why they put the law in your face so you can see it. So when you break it, it's on you. It's not on them. It's not excusable because you've seen it millions of times. The law is right there. It's specific.
Hey Alexa, define infringe.
The verb infringe is usually defined as to commit a breach or infraction with, violate or transgress. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for infringe.
All right, I'm good,
To
bro. I found it.
violate or transgress. Violate, and when you call somebody a name that's outside of the context of that's respectful, and they have a right by their whatever their culture or their religion is, they have a right for you to not infringe upon what they believe. So if you infringe on what they believe, which is violate, they have constitutional rights that stop you from doing so without me having to attack you, without me having to address you. It's not
So,
taking away the freedom of speech, though.
man, I love y'all. I think this is a deep bill, and I love the way my brother brought this thing to the table. And I really act. My sister is a law. She just hit the bar. She down in Florida, but she on business. My sister does business law. But as far as criminal law, I don't know if she knows about it. But I'm sure she knows about constitutional rights. So I'm good on that. But what I do want to make sure that we understand is you have a God-given right. Now, I've been through the streets of Detroit, Michigan, and I've seen people get their head blew off by what they said by their own brother. So I know how the freedom of speech works in a certain way. But I'm telling you this, that whoever took their life at that time, that didn't make them judge and jury because of what they said, because that was their right to say that. Now, however the other dude took it, that didn't give them the right to take their life. So when you say something, if you know, it's an old saying that the old kids used to say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And if you took, because somebody called you a nigger to be do whatever you wanted to do, bro, that's on you. If somebody took whatever they wanted to hear because somebody said something against them without bodily harm, that's on you. Now, if you threaten my life, that's a different story. But because somebody says something, brother, that don't give you, that's you taking away their freedom of speech. I don't understand if y'all can see what I'm saying.
Okay, we
That's
heard
their God.
we hear you. Can we continue what the topic that the host was building on? We understand your position.
Y'all can build on it. Go ahead. I'm good.
Thank you.
Peace, fam. I was letting y'all rock out.
Peace, peace, peace to y'all. Peace, peace, peace to y'all. Peace, Islam.
Nah, I was letting y'all rock out, man.
Nah, I was just trying to
Look,
give you some.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm one of them type of teachers. I'm one of them type of teachers where if I'm teaching on something and there's constant interruptions, I shut up.
Now, you know, at a lot of times, bro, I'm a teacher too. I'm a teacher of divinity. So I really know that Bible, like backwards and forward, forward and backwards, and I know what it really is talking about. But I will never, ever roll and rock on with going across a whole damn paragraph of things and don't even break it down while I'm going through it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure you understand what I'm saying. That's just from a biblical standpoint of giving you words of encouragement and knowledge. And
But I'm
the
gonna tell
reason,
you something, though, right, King? When it come to that law, I went to law school, but I ain't on Balboa level. I'm not even finna debate with her when it comes to the law. When she talk, I ain't gonna lie, bro. When she talk about the law, I'm gonna shut my mouth. I ain't even finna lie, cause that's how my lead. That's how my pay grade. You feel me? Like she's on a whole nother level of the law. Like her understanding of the law is superior when it come to mine. Stuff. Well, I'm talking about American law. As far as I'm not dealing with more Islamic law right now. I know that. That's my field of expertise. I'm dealing with American law. Her understanding is on a whole nother level. You get what I'm saying? So again, it's just certain people I'm not even finna debate with when it comes to the law. And she was right and exact. So look, let's get to it. It says sources of law. The law is not one body of complete works. Instead, it is several separate collections, one or more of which may apply to any given situation. Law includes the United States Constitution, federal statutes, federal cases, federal administrative regulations. Now, what this book does is it breaks down what the United States Constitution is, what federal statutes is, what federal cases is, etc. So it says the United States Constitution. This high-level document is comparatively short, but lays out some of the most important principles for how our legal system is structured and what authority the various branches of government have to make new laws. Now, what branch of government makes the law? We have three branches of government, right? We have judicial, we have legislative, we have executive. Again, we have executive, legislative, and executive. The executive is the president. That's the president. We have judicial. That's the courts. we have legislative. That is Congress. Which branch of government makes the laws? Right, Congress, legislative. That's who makes the law. Who enforces the law? Now we have executive and we have judicial. Who enforces it? Judicial. The judges. That's who enforces the law, the judicial system. When you violate the laws that Congress make, you stand before a judge, and the judge is the one who enforces those laws. It's force behind the makings of the law. You get what I'm saying? So it's important that we understand the different branches of government and how they function in law and by the law. It's very important that we understand the government. Very important, straight up. So check out this. Hold on. One second, y'all. That was the babies. So listen, right? We have to understand the different functions of the law, and we have to understand how it operates. We literally have to understand how it operates. So when we dealing with judicial, the judicial branch, again, that is the branch of the government that enforces the law. They also interpret the law. We as citizens, we may not understand the fullness of the law or how the law functions. We may not understand that. But again, we not legal experts. These are people that went to school, has been trained in the law and by the law. We haven't. All we have is opinions. And again, on this app, I'm just saying this as a sidebar, this is a very opinionated app with no premises, no basis. Islam, Zulu, Islam, King, no basis. Balboa is an expert in law. She's trained in the law. So what she gives us in regards to the law, it's not opinion based. She's in the field of expertise where stuff will lie. There's no room for opinion. Either it is or it ain't. It's black and white in her field of expertise. You get what I'm saying? So I'm using her as an example for a reason. Because she passed the bar. You get what I'm saying? So keeping that in its proper perspective, there's no opinions when it comes to her. And it's the same when it comes to governmental officials. There's no opinion. It is what it is. They have to go according to the law. And say, for instance, if you get a judge who is discriminating against you, who may violate your civil liberties, right? And all of that, right? Say, for instance, if you get violated in one court, you have the opportunity to go, if you get violated on a state level, you could file in the federal courts. Am I right, Babu? You can file in the federal courts to hear your situation.
All the way up to Supreme.
All the way up to the Supreme. So don't think like, if you get charged with a hate crime, if you feel like you're being silenced, right, in the state, you can always file from the state to the federal to the Supreme Court. Now, after that Supreme Court decision, it's a wrap. That's it. It's a wrap. You get what I'm saying? But I doubt that something so minute can actually even reach the Supreme Court. I think they'll stop that either at the state level or at the most federal. So that's just some food for thought right there. That's just some food for thought.
I've always considered going into law. It's only because my mind thinks beyond. I know that there are rules and guidelines that people have to follow. in accordance to whatever your profession is. I know that.
True.
That's a God given everything. You know, if you got guidelines with your job, perform the job. But it's only the elites who are able to think and be able to grow beyond what you got in front of your face. You got to be elite. Now, all I was saying with what I was saying is this: even if you have, brother, I really appreciate you, brother. I really do, man. You just don't even know how much I really appreciate you for bringing this shit up.
Appreciate you too, Ken.
Oh, this is shit that we need to talk about because people don't need. You don't even know what your rights are. What are your rights as a citizen of the United States?
You was
What are
right.
your
I was just spending a whole day on that right there. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's up, Sam? You good today, man? You straight, bro? I know you for years, man. You good?
No,
people,
because
man. You good tonight?
it's just crazy how I was actually I've been looking up the laws and been thinking about the laws. And one thing that struck me is that when they do change current, that means everybody debt gonna be clear. It just don't matter. If you got any kind of credit card debt or any kind of debt you owe, it's gonna be clear because you did not sign up for this new system. You know what I'm saying? And how people don't realize how the amendment was set up is it was if you had owned some land, then you could vote. That's how it was set up. It really wasn't about women always could vote. They lied to us. What it was is women did not own no properties. And the ones that did, they didn't know the law. I mean, they didn't know the Constitution. So they, they play hardball with them. But in reality, what system they trying to get back is the system they trying to put up, meaning a lot of people going to be owning properties to get these servants, the you know what I'm saying, to get the ability to do the new law way. And I can tell you, it's amazing how they have they got a seat. They actually got a seat that nobody never sit in, while all the seats were filled. You know what I'm saying? When they I'm talking about Congress, they actually got a seat, sits, and they already prepared a way for that seat to be fulfilled. They already know the deeds and the dots, and this is the reason it's gonna be this new system, so it could gradually pull people in, not even knowing they're getting pulled in to this market of beast. It's another way to get people comfortable with this market of beast.
You say what?
Well, that's crazy how you mentioned that.
All right.
Yeah, women always could vote. They always had the right to vote. It's just that
Okay, so I don't know if you saw in the comments. One thing that I know for certain is that the year that I was born in, which is recent, because I'm under 50, right, is the first year that a woman could have her own financial instrument.
Correct. You didn't listen to me.
Wait, no, wait, because I'm talking now.
I'm sorry,
I did not interrupt you.
I want to understand me though. I want you to understand me. I want you.
Sam,
I know that, but I want you to
Sam,
understand
Sam,
what
I
I
don't
said.
care. Stop
Understand
interrupting
what I
me when I'm
said.
speaking. Listen, do not interrupt me
Just
when I'm speaking. Thank
understand
you.
what I
I'm
said. Remember to
speaking. Thank you.
understand what
I'm
I
sorry.
said.
Can I speak? Can
Go
I
ahead.
speak,
Yeah,
Sam?
sure.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Thank you. So, in the year that I was born is the first year that a woman could own her own financial instrument. She had to have her husband sign for anything, credit cards, checkbooks at the bank, etc. Right? And so, if you're admitting that women couldn't own property and that you had to be a property owner in order to vote, you are therefore admitting that
I did
women could
not
not
say
vote.
that. Stop putting words in my
I'm
mouth.
saying
That's
that.
why I wanted to
I'm
stop you.
saying that. I'm saying
I
that.
did
I'm
not
saying
say
that. I'm
that.
saying. Okay, I
Hey,
heard you
Yes, yeah.
say
You,
that women
where you?
couldn't own property. I heard you say women
no,
couldn't
I don't
own
want you.
property.
I don't want you. I don't want you. You misunderstood me from the get go, and I knew you did. And now you're trying to round kick it, and you still misunderstood me.
It's the first time I
What I'm getting
spoke.
at.
So how you know
Listen,
you
listen.
knew
I
what
want you to
knew I
understand.
did?
Hold on. I don't want you to fight me on this. I want you to understand. It's the difference between. I'm talking about the Constitution. I'm not talking about what happened after the Constitution was written and how they looked at the Constitution and how they found a way to get around.
Hey, real quick, I want to say thank you to Honesty Lust. Thank you, sister, for the donation. Thank you. My bad for interrupting you, white boy Sam. I apologize. I just came in from the kitchen. Thank you for the cash app, sister. Thank you. Also, y'all know I'm not a regular host on here. Before I unmute and let my brother white boy Sam continue and my sister Balboa, I want to put this in the comment section. If y'all want to donate, small donation, large donation, it don't matter. Feel free, okay? Feel free. That's my cash app. Let me unmute. My bad, white boy Sam, my boy. My bad. I had to acknowledge my sister for sending me a donation.
Oh, you good, family?
This
You
is
good?
the reason why the Civil War happened, because the North, why the down South was getting all their slaves up, because in Virginia it was 1,000 to 1. It was
Hey,
actually
Sam.
1,000 to 1.
Sam, let me say this right quick, brother. I do not want to get away from this bill, bro. And the bill
All right, go
is the
ahead.
Constitution.
Go ahead. Well, that's what I'm talking
And
about. The Constitution. That's exactly what I'm talking
and
about.
okay,
What the
and the
amendment
system.
says is you have to own a property to vote. That's what the amendment. See what it is this. We only got like 10 amendments. It was only like 10, I believe 10 amendments. And the rest of the amendment came when this money hit. So they not the real amendment. You know what I'm saying? They came when
I
the
think you talking
Titanic
about the
sank.
Ten Commandments,
When it,
not the amendments. It's
I'm talking about
25.
the amendment. I'm talking. I know the fuck I said, nigga. I ain't talking about no commandments. I ain't say that, knucklehead. Stop putting words in my mouth. I'm talking about the amendments. See, this is what they lied to y'all. Y'all trying to go off what you were taught. What I'm telling you is, it was.
Hey. Hey, listen, man. White boy Sam, bro. I don't know who the fuck you talking to, but yeah. Thank you for kicking him, man. I ain't tolerating no disrespect on my panel. For man, woman, and child, man. Tell that shit out. I'm respectful to everybody, so I ain't tolerating no fucking. Let's continue to build, fam.
Hey, bad boy, thank you, sis. I just didn't want to stray away from the topic too soon, and I'm not gonna be up here much longer. And the only reason I brought this up, big bro, is because of this. There's a big fight right now against our old president, and what they are trying to do is use what he said to indict him on charges. It's what he said. It's not what he did. It's what he said. So if you want to use, I mean, I can't get around this because a great teacher, this is how great teachers do. They just don't move on to another subject unless the subject is understood by at least 50 to 80% of the class. And I know that this is not understood. Even though it's a law, and I think the law has been misinterpreted, honestly. And this is by the big boys who practice this. Because if you hold a man accountable for what he said, and instead of like some malicious act, man, we in trouble. We all of us are gonna be in trouble. Whether you recognize it or not, it's gonna be what come out your mouth that's gonna hold you accountable for shit that you didn't even maliciously want to carry out. It's just because of how you said it.
So I'm sorry. There is an aspect of what Trump is going through that's relation to what he said, right? Because first of all, he was at the highest level of office in these United States of America, right? And there are laws in relation to treason and sedition and acts that undermined the national security. And this is where we get back to, you can have free speech, but you do not have freedom from reproach, right? It doesn't mean that you don't have free speech. It just means you cannot run into a movie house and shout fire without something coming to you to address that, because you are putting other people in danger with your speech. You have to be responsible about how you use your words. Like my grandmother taught me when I was a kid, words have power. And I don't know why we would want anything different to be the case. I don't think you would want for someone to defraud you out of your entire life savings because they had free speech to tell you some bullshit about how your investment was going to work for you. I think you would want that protection from their free speech. And so, yes, there are limitations to free speech, and I'm not mad at that. But
So
where Trump is concerned, I really bring a question to why people who look like me, who are melanated like me, want to love that man so much and basically hoist him up and put him on a pedestal for things that are clear. Violations.
I'm melanated like you. Do you want me to really tell you why? Do you want me to tell you why?
Not really, because I don't really give a fuck, because I think it's dumb. Honestly.
See? And that's what I'm saying. See, because
no, but I wish this is not a Trump panel. We could have a Trump panel on another day.
I want one side of the track. You on one side of the track. Yes, you on one side of the track. And I mean, if you don't really want to hear it, I won't tell it to you. But you on one side of the track. You ain't really looking at the whole picture. You take a melanated man.
You know what picture I'm looking at. The picture that I would like to look at, though, is the build that we're trying to build on. And I don't want to make it a Trump focus. But what I just wanted to be clear about, is his free speech are not being violated when he is being held accountable for sedition and treason and the violation of the national security of these United States of America.
So I had a brother that I voted for one time, and he was my color. And the first thing that happened when he got in office, a young brother got smoked by a white boy, and I heard Trayvon scream. And you know what that black motherfucker did? Nothing. He got on the television, and all he said was this: if I had a son, he would look like Trayvon. Motherfucker, what the fuck did you mean? You ain't did shit for me, you black ass melanated motherfucker who call yourself my fucking people.
Because the president, as the host has outlined, does not enact law enforcement and doesn't pass laws. And so the best that he could do is speak from his heart so that he can sway public policy, so that he could sway public opinion about his feeling that Trayvon could have been his son.
Okay, sister.
As a president of these United States of America. He
You
could
can
not
roll.
enact an action to do anything to affect how Zimmerman was treated because he's not a judge, despite
Okay,
having been a
sister.
lawyer.
You can roll on that train all day long. Okay, you can
I'm
roll
just
that
telling you
train.
what the facts are,
Roll
sir.
that
I'm
train
just telling
all
you what the
the way back.
facts are. It's not a train that I'm riding on. I'm just telling you what the details are. But that's
Okay,
fine.
but
Believe what you want to believe. I think that's where you are anyway. But
baby,
can we
I'm
just
gonna do
return to
that.
the build? Can we return to the build?
We getting there. It's called freedom of speech. We ain't stopped there
It is.
because you got to pause and you got to deal with the matter at hand. It's called freedom of speech. The brother brought a very important topic, and we got to deal with that. Especially if he want to build on the panel, he can't build on the panel just continuing on law that people don't understand just by reading out a book or almanac. He need to make the people understand, and that's what a bill is about. If you did not know, sister. Now, when you take Barack, he ain't did nothing after he made that little speech about, oh, if I had a son, he looked like Trayvon. What else has he done for you or me or our people? What?
He passed. He got the Affordable Care Act passed,
Why
so that
though? Do you know
so that
why?
listen. However, the why is, I know people who are definitely benefiting from having the health care that they were restricted from accessing before he became president. That's what I know for fact.
I know for a fact the only reason he did it is because his grandmama died without insurance.
And that's great because that's good
It wouldn't take.
motivation.
He
And
wouldn't. Yeah, that's
congratulations to him
motivation.
for
That's
holding up his
motivation.
grandmother in regard.
You
Like
held
what?
office for 8 years, brother. You hold office for
Okay,
8 years. What else have
so
you done
I don't
in
want to
eight
get caught
years?
in rail against Obama, love Trump bucket. I want to return to the bill. That's just my vote. I'm to
I'm
stand
still.
down with my comments from this point.
I'm about to pause up and I'm about to log off after this because this is the bill. You can't move forward unless your people understand what you're building on. Other than that, all you going to do, all you're going to do is be putting a whole lot of words out here and nobody understand them. And we're talking about freedom of speech.
I
That's what we're
understood what you were
talking
saying.
about.
I understood what
That's
you were
what we're
saying.
talking. I did. I understood her
Understood what
too.
you were saying. So what's the problem then?
Brother, all we trying to do is just get back to this freedom of speech thing, man. Honestly,
Okay, so
man.
get
I
back
don't
to
have
it then.
nobody. I really appreciate the sister too. She in law. My sister's in law. My blood sister, 2 years younger than me, is in law. So I know where she's at. It's not like I'm ignorant to what she's talking about.
I
All
didn't
I'm
say
trying to
you
say,
were, brother. If you try to
I
get back
know,
to the
bro.
bill, get back to
I
the
know, bro.
bill. It's real simple.
So with freedom of speech is all I'm saying is this, man. This is all I'm saying, y'all. Y'all got to really like dig deep to understand what
Oh
I'm
my God.
saying. Because
Ain't nobody got
okay,
to dig deep, bro. Just say what you're saying.
all right, man, I ain't got nothing else to say, man. Y'all, you know, you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out, bro. She got to figure it out too.
Thank you. What's Sheik
Hey,
at?
man.
Sheik, come on back with the
I'm
bill,
right
bro.
here, King. I was just letting people express themselves. How I look at it is like Babua, my beautiful queen sister, is giving an understanding of the law from a standpoint of actual expertise. And the brother, he's trying his best to understand it from his level of understanding. So in the midst of him asking questions about the law, he's getting a little frustrated because the law isn't making sense to him. You get what I'm saying? Like, well, if this is what I'm getting from the brother, right? If it says freedom of expression, how does it come with these limitations, right? Because it is limitations on the law. Let's be clear, right? For prime example, it say freedom of religion, right? But your religion say this: eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, right?
Right?
It also say in certain religions that you could kill unbelievers, right? But let's be clear. You're not finna go around killing a person who doesn't believe in your religion and think you go use that particular chapter and verse and get off of a murder. it's limitations even within freedom of religion. You cannot go around killing unbelievers just because your religion said that, and you have the right to religion, the freedom of expression of religion. You can't go around killing stuff without. You can't go around killing unbelievers. It's limitations. So I understand his frustration because he like, well, damn, they should just call it freedom of speech with limitations. Add limitations on it then. Am I correct in what I'm gathering from your thoughts, bro?
You hit it on the motherfucking head, brother. Because if you got freedom of speech, which ain't if it ain't freedom of speech if you put limitations on it. There shouldn't be no limitations on your freedom of speech unless you're threatening bodily harm. That's what just happened to the brother over. Oh, he ain't even a brother. He's a white dude over last week. Biden showed up somewhere, and the FBI went to go check his house out and make sure this motherfucker wasn't trying to load his weapons up, put a ghillie suit on, and try to snipe him from somewhere. See, there's a difference. Now, if you threatening somebody, hey, bro, by all means, hey, man, go and do what you got to do. But if I'm talking about some calling you whatever, bro, come on, man. I mean, you gonna send the FBI to my house because I called somebody a name? That's not freedom of speech.
But nobody
There's
said the
no-
FBI was going to your house for calling somebody a name. I don't know of cases like that.
Basically, that's what you have going on really right now. Ain't nobody
That's
threatening
not what
nobody.
you have going
It's just
on. Name me a case where the FBI showed up to somebody's house because they called somebody a name. Name it. I'll
this.
wait.
This is where we at. When you take a situation like we got with I don't want to use that because you don't want to go that route. This is what you're gonna have, man. All you got is your rights taken away. It's just that in a nutshell, man. I ain't even got to use no example. Your rights, as long as this is what you got. If somebody feels opposed to what you said, look, they done changed. Let me show you how deep the rabbit hole go. Since I'm gonna take it to a different level. So you got a football team. They was called the Washington Redskins. And that is a freedom of speech, whether you look at it or not. And then some Indians come along and say, hey, that's derogatory against my religion or whatever. Now you done made this Washington Redskin team, who have been around forever, change their whole name because you feel in your little heart that it's bad or derogatory to me. That's freedom of speech, even though it's a red Indian man on a helmet.
Yeah, but it's not freedom of speech when it's a disrespect. It's a violation. It's
how was that
Okay,
disrespect
listen,
with a professional football team, family? How was that disrespect, bro? Because I don't get it.
All right. You need to relax. Brother, can you relax? Can you relax, brother? Relax. You need to relax. Infringe. We just looked up the word infringe, bro. It infringes on who they are as a people. It's a disrespect to those people. The people.
Wow.
Do you hear what I said?
Brother, that's a professional NFL football team. How was that disrespecting them?
Listen, you talking about a football team that's small compared to Constitution, bro. That it's not even in the same category.
Brother, how was that disrespecting an Indian by naming your team the Washington Redskins, bro? How was that disrespect, bro? You ain't showing that to me.
How many times you gonna say the same thing? Let me finish. All right, brother. When you calling them the Washington Redskins, right? And you have an Indian, right, as its moniker, right? The Indian is sacred. It belongs to those. The Indian is those people. It is those who are those people where they got it from. So they feel that it is a disrespect to put us on a team that we don't even. we don't even have parts of. It don't have anything to do with our life, our religion, who we are, but it shows a disrespect as calling us Redskins. When you call us Redskins, you're giving us it's derogatory, right? So we have to change it and put something else, right? Because it shows a disrespect to who we are as a people. I'm not a Redskin, I'm an Indian. So to call me a Redskin or call our people Redskins of that stature is a form of disrespect.
Brother, how the fuck is that disrespect and they are Redskins?
Okay, can I just say, see, here's the more important thing, right? And that's not to be disrespectful, because I agree wholeheartedly with everything that FM the DR just said, right? But interestingly enough, your claim, I don't have my glasses on. Yahshua.
Yeah.
Yahshua. Your claim is actually false. So we're in a position of arguing against you on the ideology of it, but really there's no need for argument because your claim in the first place is false. There was no legal recourse that required them to change their name. They actually elected to change their name due to public pressure, because their right to freedom to have the logo and the name did not free them from the reproach of the people. And that's how that works. And that's what we keep saying. Free speech does not preclude you from freedom from reproach from the people. There was no court case settlement that said that they had to change the name. They simply changed it because people stopped liking them have that as their term for their team because it was disrespectful. And you're mad. But the thing that's crazy to me is that you're mad when wait. You're mad when you sound in everything else that you said to stand with indigenous people. So why are you not standing with the indigenous people in this moment? When they have a win that says we want, we see it important to respect you. Why are you not standing with the indigenous when finally the white supremacist hierarchy yields and says we must respect you? Why are you not standing with the indigenous people in that moment?
Listen, I really don't know what kind of, because the way you just made it sound is like you making it sound like some Indians introduced something on the table and the Washington Redskins just was like, oh, okay, you're right, we'll change our name, when they've been carrying that shit for like years. No, sis, it didn't go like that. Yes, ma'am.
I just pulled up the article because I don't lean to my own understanding. I am a fact researcher. Everybody on this app can tell you.
You know, I don't know. I don't know I don't know all of the what went down. I don't know what all of went down.
Well, I'm now telling you exactly what went down because I just pulled it up and researched it and looked at 3 different articles that states they changed the name due to public pressure. And yes, they were holding tight for a long time. For many years, they held on to their fight to hold on to the name until it didn't work for them anymore because the public pressure was too great. I'm just not sure why you're mad and why you're not standing with the indigenous in that win.
It's not that I'm even mad. What I'm showing you is like they just ripped them boys away from their freedom of speech.
They didn't rip nothing. The team decided it was in their best interests. That's not a ripping of anything.
What was in their best interest? What would make that in their best interest to rip their
Peace, family, peace. I'm so sorry to interrupt y'all. I'm so sorry. Forgive me, brother. Forgive me, my sister. Look, y'all. I'm finna listen. I need everybody to follow everybody in here with the code badge real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt. Just a quick little piece saying, right? Everybody follow my brother Prime. Follow my brother Prime. Follow Luna. Follow Honesty Lust. Follow Mob. Everybody you see with my family badge on them. Make sure you follow the Code family. Y'all listen. I got to transfer this live to my brother, aka my #1 security guard, my brother Prime, right? Yo, real shit. Follow the code, right? Yo, I'm finna transfer this live to Prime. I need everybody to go to Prime Room. Go to Prime Room. We gotta build my brother's panel up, y'all. We gotta build him up. Let's support my family. Let's support the code. We got the best intellectual property. I love and appreciate y'all. Please follow this transfer. Go straight to my brother panel. Peace and love. Hold on. Transfer to 1, 2, 3. Where's Prime? Prime is 5. All right, y'all. Let's go to Prime Room.
Sorry, babe. So, bad boy, let me say this right quick though, before I even jump off this joint. I am not mad about anything that went down. All I'm saying is this, sis. Listen, these cats out here, no matter, I know you part of the code anyway, so it don't matter to you. Shit, you part of that code. But what's happening is freedom of speech is being ripped away slowly but surely from everybody. Shit, anytime, let me show you another example of what I'm talking about. Anytime that you can take somebody who on a platform like Twitter and just take them off of Twitter because of what they saying, man, your freedom of speech is being ripped. You
Sir,
being ripped
Twitter is
away.
a private so understand how the protections for free speech are implemented, right? If I have a corporation and I hire you to work at my company and I say we are not to talk about milk in this company because I don't want to deal with anything related to milk, and you sign up to participate in that, you can be fired because you brought milk up, because you were
Well,
alerted and informed, and I am a private entity and private corporation.
so
Yes?
if you
Yes?
use that as an example, I ought to be able to sue the shit out your ass because you just ripped my rights away. Unless I
So if
signed up, hold on. Unless I signed up on some type of disclaimer, you cannot rip my free speech away. Because if you
but
do, guess
sir,
what?
if my corporation has a certain function, right? And you're disrupting the workplace because you
Sister,
continue to talk about
all I'm
milk,
trying
and
to tell you though, so
the
what
rules are on
though?
the wall. The rules are on the
It doesn't
wall. Plain to
it
see.
doesn't listen, if I did not sign a disclaimer to say, listen here, I know your
But you
rules.
did.
Fuck it.
And you want to know
How
what?
you
So
know
did
that
Trump,
though?
because I know you're talking about Trump. Twitter has what's called
I'm not.
Twitter has what's called terms and agreement that everybody skips past when they sign up for these apps with private corporations, right? And so you are held to what you agreed to, sir. It's not a violation of your free speech when you sign the contract saying, I agree that I will not do these things. So when he did those things that he was signed on to not do, he's held accountable by having his account removed. And that's how that works. So no, it's
That
not a
means
violation of your free
Says
speech.
ain't nothing on Twitter that made him sign something for them to ban
Yes,
him
it
the way he
is.
was talking.
Yes, it
I
is.
guarantee
Yes,
you
it
that
is.
now put my
Yes,
money.
it is.
I'll put
Dr.
my
no,
Maya,
I'll
no.
put my
Dr.
money
Can
on
I
Maya,
it.
say something? Because
everybody that has
we
signed
just
up
became
for a social media account knows that there's terms and agreements when you sign up for them. Even on Bigo here, we have terms and agreement that we're actually violating right now.
That's facts.
I can guarantee you that whatever he said on his little punk ass tweets, I swear, did not violate his rights on Twitter to be banned. I can guarantee you that. And I put my
And I
money on that.
guarantee you that
They
I could probably
exercise.
find someone
Listen,
and probably more than one person that has written at length about exactly how he violated those specific terms and agreements. I guarantee you that.
you know what
Without
though?
even looking.
They probably will make up some dumbass shit because they're gonna weaponize the mass media because it's violating your freedom of speech.
Okay.
That's what
Listen,
we've been
ignorance,
I'm
on.
going to allow you to have your free
ignorance,
speech.
sister,
Thank you.
sister, ignorance to the law is no excuse, but not knowing the law is excusable. Like you said, if you work for a corporation, right, and the corporation has a law that you cannot wear red pants in my establishment. You can't wear red pants, and if you wear red pants, you are subject to be fired. You are subject to be under persecution. Why? Because we made it known, right? Ignorance to the law is no excuse. You heard? But not knowing the law is excusable. They already told you the law. 9 out of 10, when you come into a new corporation, they make you sign an agreement. They make you sign papers that say that this is where you work and this is what the laws is. This is what our rules is, rules and regulations. And in their rules and regulations, this is what this says. So under those rules and regulations, you must follow the rules and regulations. And if you don't, you are subject to dismissal or reparation for whatever you did, right? So
Man, bro,
so
let me tell you, man.
infringing. Listen, so that's not infringing on no rights at all because it's a law that deals with my specific company. I own this company. I make the laws to my company. So if I make the rules to my company, you have to follow these rules. And if you can't follow these rules, then you cannot work here. That's not going against your freedom of speech because you are
Let me tell you.
infringing on their business.
Let me tell you what happened to this dude, and it happened to some other another person. The only thing that was different is that he was a black man that was able to be assassinated. You got a man by the name of Martin Luther King, baby, and he was giving his free speech. And listen, it was so crazy because he was preaching peace, but it was his free speech, though. So check it. Since I can't shut your ass off of social media platforms that have not been created yet, I'm just gonna shut your mouth permanently. I'm gonna put you in the dirt.
All right.
So and that's what happened with all the rest of them too, brother. Listen, man, are y'all that's just like I don't even really understand, man. Are y'all just that blind that you can't see what the fuck going on right in front of your face?
You trying to make a something that's